Welcome back. We've got another episode of Bench Wisdom Bingo going on today. For those of you who are not familiar with this, I've got a bingo cage. It's got 75 numbers in it, and I've got a list of questions. So we're going to randomly pull out a number and match it up to the questions. So they're all in different categories. There's 5 categories that are under the BINGO labels. So B is for basic bench skills. I is industry and business questions. N is the nature of growth. G is greater meaning. And O is for other teachings. So we're going to roll this thing up and randomly pull out a number and just kind of answer the question off the cuff and see what happens. So mix them all up really good. And here we'll let you see in real time. And there's the number. And the number today is B3. Throw that back in there. All right, so B3, right on the front page. The question is, what separates average craftsmanship from excellent craftsmanship? That is a good question. Especially when you delve into the category of handmade jewelry. Sometimes people can cut corners and get a little sloppy because they rely on the definition of handmade jewelry, and they can say, well, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's not created by a machine or a factory. It's created by hands individually. So any of the little defects are actually just character for the piece. And I understand that, and that is true to a certain extent. But you can't cut corners and be sloppy on purpose just because you want to do it faster, I guess. So to me, it's more of a pride thing. When I do something, I try and do it well. I try and do it to the best of my ability, even if it takes a little bit longer, because it's got my name on it. It's not just a piece of jewelry that goes out there, but it's a piece of jewelry that goes out there to a customer, and they're going to tell other people where they got that jewelry. And when I stamp that piece of jewelry with my logo, that is a mark of, how would you say, craftsmanship for me. So it's like, I'm proud of this piece, I'm putting my name on it. It's like if an artist paints a picture, they sign that picture. It's like, this was done by me, I'm proud of it. Same thing with jewelry. When you stamp a piece of jewelry with your logo or you sign it with your name, you're giving the approval that this has passed my standard of excellence and I'm okay with the quality that is going out. So if you're cutting corners just because you can get away with it, because you can say it's handmade, that doesn't really cut it with me. You still have to apply certain standards to your workmanship. So if you just file a piece and you say, there's some file marks there, but I'm just going to leave it because that shows that this was handmade. No, that doesn't cut it with me. You need to take it to the next level. Take out those file marks, sand them down, and polish it up. Now, sometimes if you're creating a piece that you want it to have some ruggedness to it, some handmade look, you can do that stuff on purpose with hammers and textures and things like that. That's different. because it's intentional. But when you cut corners just because it's not intentionally part of the design, but it's just something you didn't want to take it to that next level just because you wanted to get done with the piece and get it out so you can get started on the next piece, or you're in production mind mode and you're just sitting there trying to punch out a bunch of pieces so that you can sell them, and you say, that's not that big of a deal. Well, to me it is, and I hold a different standard to myself than I do to other people. So don't take this personal, but again, when I look at a piece of jewelry, I can tell when things are left there intentionally or if they're left there out of sloppiness. And that's just, to me, that's a pride thing. I'm proud of the pieces of jewelry that I work on. When I hand it to a customer, I want them to say, wow, that's good. I didn't expect it to be that nice. And that, to me, is kind of a ribbon or a pat on the back or something like that. And I'm not doing it to get that. I'm doing it because I've got a standard that I hold to myself, and I don't hold it to other people. But and that's not just in the jewelry, but it's in everything that I do. I try and do it to the best of my ability with the tools that are available to me. And again, when you look at, or when I look at other people's jewelry, I can tell the difference between intentional and sloppy. And I don't have respect for the piece when I identify sloppy. And again, so the question, what separates the average craftsmanship from excellent craftsmanship? And I think the answer is not the craftsmanship. It's the mentality that goes into the craftsmanship. It is the fact that you are not satisfied with mediocre. You have a higher standard that you keep to yourself, and that's when it rises to excellent. And you don't see a lot of that. Most of the jewelry that you identify out there falls into the average category, because a lot of people are doing it and making the jewelry so that they can sell jewelry quickly and make more money. Yeah, that's good. That's part of the business. But to me, for myself, it's bigger than that. It's not just making jewelry to make money, but it's making jewelry because I'm not satisfied doing anything else, if that makes sense. So that's the difference to me from average craftsmanship to excellent craftsmanship. It's again, it's not the craftsmanship, it's the mentality that goes into the craftsmanship. And so I've got a filter that I see things through when I'm working on it, and I know when to stop and when to keep going. And that's just something I've learned over time. You don't want to sit there and work on a piece for hours and hours and hours, just getting every little detail perfect. But you don't want to skip processes just because of time's sake and say, that's handmade. Yeah. So there you go. There's the question I have. What separates average craftsmanship from excellent craftsmanship? To me, again, it's not the craftsmanship, it's the mentality that goes into the work. Hopefully you've enjoyed these things. The bench wisdom bingo, I'm going to keep doing them just because I enjoy doing them, and hopefully you get something out of it as well. If not, that's okay. There's other content available on this YouTube channel and on the Patreon page. There's a bunch of stuff on Patreon that I don't put on YouTube. It's just because people over there are supportive, and they just like to see different types of stuff. So we go behind the scenes and show different things and stuff that's not even jewelry related at times, but we have fun over there. So if you haven't been over there, go check it out and consider supporting it. It's patreon.com/JewelryMonk. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you next time. This is Doug with the Jewelry Monk Studio.